Welcome back to A Shot of Business Central and a Beer. Today, we are lucky enough to have Mike Silver, who is Mike, we believe you're a partner account manager? Is that your official title at Microsoft?
Partner account manager. Those are old days. I am now a partner development manager.
Partner development manager, yeah. We checked out your signature, but we couldn't find the official job title in there. So, Mike, you've been with Microsoft for a little while right now. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Maybe how you ended up at Microsoft. If you have any hobbies, you like beer. Kind of go down the road about who you really are.
Wow, the deep insights. Well, sure. Happy to answer the question. As far as Microsoft, yeah, I'm going on 5 years here, so it's been a 5-year run. As a partner development manager, my initial role here at Microsoft was really to help launch what is today Business Central, the small mid-market product in the ERP space that we brought to market a few years ago. And that then turned into a role where they asked me to oversee we call it a portfolio of partners all focused in the dynamic space, and really to support their efforts in what they're doing to drive market and acquire customers and build talent. And really from a role they say to be more strategic, how to keep them aligned with everything Microsoft's doing and keep their businesses going forward. So that's the role today. Prior to Microsoft, I was a partner like you guys here in Chicago, started selling MAS 90 from what is now Sage Software, now Sage 200, and Great Plains back in 1989 when it was still on Novell. So that tells you how old I am. But and then when the world of Windows started coming to play, we jumped on board with the Solomon product, the Solomon software that was an early entry into the Windows market. And we just kind of hitched our wagons there. And for many, many years, we're Solomon's largest partner here in Chicago. Made it through the transition when Microsoft bought Solomon and Great Plains and got very involved with Microsoft partner advisory councils and a lot of the executives. And we just drove a lot of business in that market for professional services and some industry specialties in finance and back office and multi-entity accounting. Had the opportunity to sell the business in 2012, and we did that. And then after that, spent some time at Intact, which is one of our competitors today, recently bought by Sage, helping them bring their product to market and part of their partner enablement program. So a little bit of my history in this world of ERP for the small and mid-market.
Very cool, very cool. So prior to 2012, I'm just curious here. I would imagine most of the business was localized. Are you surprised at how quickly it's jumped to where partners can work nationwide now?
Yeah, yeah, hands down. Yeah, everything was on-prem. Most of our business was here in Chicago, and we didn't have the SaaS solutions available then. They were just starting to come to market. We didn't have the ability to do implementations over the internet and tie things in through web services as nice as it is today. And wow, it's been almost 10 years, but the change and the growth in technology it's unbelievable, right? It's things that we never thought we could do back then we're doing today. So
yeah. So I won't throw you such a softball question to say is Business Central doing well? I think we know it is doing well. The market seems to be accepting it. Partners are pretty busy helping their customers either implement Business Central or move there. What do you think from your perspective at Microsoft? What are some of the reasons that Business Central is become so effective?
That's a great question. And no question, we have absolutely seen Business Central take off, and particularly this year. What we are finding with Business Central, one, the price point is amazing, right? The price point has been so aggressively priced that customers look at it and say, we need to consider this option, right? If it doesn't fit things, fine, we'll move on. But we're getting into more deals because I think the price point has really been driving that interest in the product. Secondly, we know that not just in and of itself as being a ERP or an accounting system, whatever you want to call it, we're bringing more and more to market because we're tying it into the rest of the Microsoft technology stack. So even things like Microsoft Office, we can look at customers without ever leaving Office. We're doing quotes through Office. We're managing our business through Office. The latest releases got integrations with Teams and workflows. We're leveraging tools in Azure for data analytics. Microsoft Power Platform for doing more data mining and dashboarding. It's that whole Microsoft story where Business Central is almost acting as the central repository for the business transactions.
Right.
And then customers are being able to bring all this familiar technology to the table that they're used to using, like Office, and layer it in with what we're doing with Business Central. So
Yeah, it's definitely amazing. So getting back to the integration part a little bit, it seems like every month or two, Microsoft is introducing new software integrations, kind of like being able to access Business Central through your Microsoft Teams platform. And people are loving it. I'm one of these people who love it. I love Microsoft Teams. But I'm wondering, do you have any idea what the bigger picture is? I know there's that whole Microsoft One software type of a thing, but any idea or any guesses on whether or not something like Microsoft Teams will be the central hub for everything, where you can work in Business Central in Teams, you can access your email in Teams, Power BI? I mean, do you know if Microsoft's moving towards something like that, or any guesses if not?
good question. I would have that one. I'd have to guess at, because I don't have any. I don't know that. I don't know the answer to what the anticipated core platform is. I'm thinking it's going to be Outlook, right? But unfortunately, I don't have any insight into that. But what you can bank on for sure is there will be more and tighter continued integration across all the Microsoft applications. So if you look inside the whole world of Dynamics today with our customer engagement platforms and our customer service tools and field service, that will be more and more tied to the call it Business Central as a platform, or Business Central may be a bolt onto a field service solution, down the line. So the idea that all this stuff talks to each other and shares common data really is the idea behind it, and that it isn't necessarily one place that we need to act as the central place for accessing everything. Point is, we can build it from wherever we need to be. Different businesses may need different ways of getting at different tools, right?
Yeah.
So, and with what we call that common data model, the fact that everything is in one database, all of my data is in one place. I don't have multiple customer lists or vendor lists, or I don't have opportunities in different places, and all my data is in one place where I can get at it with all the Power Platform tools as well.
Yeah, makes it a lot easier to share between all the different softwares.
Yep, that's the vision. The vision is this one platform where all the data is in one place for us to get at easily.
I like it.
Yeah, so obviously in your role, you're out there, you're talking to different partners, again, whether on the Office side or Dynamics products. Any recent trends or things like that you're seeing across partners, or and what customers are looking for in the marketplace recently?
Wow, I mean, there's been all kinds of stuff, but great question. So just generally speaking, with the pandemic, we have seen an incredible uptick, let's say in Business Central. The product is well up over 100% over last year. And the adoption rate's been unbelievable. There are hundreds of thousands of users using it. So the whole push to move to remote workforces and leverage technology in a new way, the pandemic has really pushed that. And we see partners changing their business models, the move to subscriptions, just the ability to do remote work and support remotely has really been certainly the theme, I would say, of this past year. As far as like partners and their business, there's this huge push we're finding for, I'm going to say, this business applications platform, where it's not just Business Central, but customers looking to really take their business to a more competitive level through digital adoption, right? Call it the digital transformation move. So bringing things to the table where maybe it's not so much about an inventory or a general ledger transaction, what we would typically find in the ERP systems, but we're maybe front-ending that with customer management or customer service issues that are becoming such a big deal. Tools that are like with chat bots today, right, are the things that customers are looking for. So we're seeing a big interest from the marketplace in adopting technology to be more customer facing, more customer centric, and to serve customers remotely. And then obviously some of that customer service boils into what we do on the backside of the business as well, making sure inventories are there and products available for shipping. But it's all that customer facing, customer kind of centric mentality that we're finding the marketplace really having the appetite for. Does that
Yeah,
answer the question? I hope.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, absolutely. Yep.
yeah, and with all this digital transformation and the push for, things to be more automated and whatnot, and, the extensions of Business Central with apps, my question to you is that I know that customers and partners can become a little frustrated by the number of different invoices they receive and that, that they have to pay. Are you aware of any future plans for streamlining the AppSource site? Kind of like how Apple does with the iPhone, their platform. No matter what you download, you get invoiced directly from Apple.
Right. Yeah, we've heard that from other partners, and definitely that managing this stuff is not super simple. There has been some discussion around getting some kind of consolidated platform and the ability to attach apps directly through the business applications. I think we're a little bit away from that yet, but the issue has definitely hit the radar, and there are partners that are definitely voicing their frustration. So
Yeah.
we're hearing it, and it's definitely, I know, something that's being looked at internally.
Good.
Yep. Yeah. And on the other side of that spectrum is one of the really big positives. And I know that, now there's within Business Central, you actually can go into the help, and you can click on the feedback. And what users actually have the ability in Business Central to make suggestions for new features.
Yep.
And also vote on other things that other people have suggested. And I just want to say it's been really great to see over the last several releases that Microsoft is taking the top vote getters and incorporating them into Business Central. Like you're seeing it within 6 months, 12 months that these things are turning into reality, and that's been, I think, really great to see.
Yeah, and it's pretty cool too, because the engineering team has been reaching out to us as the partner interface folks far more often than we've seen as well, saying, what are your partners saying? What is it that we need to do? Where do we need to fix a problem or add a feature? Or what about transitions from all the on-premise products over the years? Engineering has been super tightly integrated with us, more than I've seen since I've been here in 5 years.
Yeah.
And they're very, very interested in the feedback we're getting from you as partners, bringing the product to market. And it's great to hear from a partner that they're seeing the results of all that work coming together. So thanks for the endorsement and the proof of concept on that one, because
Yeah.
we don't always get to see if it actually works at the end of the day.
I think for many years, and I'm going to go on a limb and say I'm probably speaking for a lot of people. It felt like, if you made a suggestion, it was kind of like you were just dropping it into a hole in the middle of the desert. But now you can see how many people voted on these things. You can see what the status is of the plans for getting these deployed, and that transparency, that's that's got to add customer satisfaction.
Yeah, and we're seeing that as well. We're seeing less churn in the product. CSAT scores are absolutely going up. So generally speaking, from Business Central specifically, the product's been this year, it really is hitting its stride. And I think what's really exciting about it is we're really just starting to scratch the surface with it. It really hasn't even made a dent in the market yet. So
yeah. Now, if I had to put you on a limb, would you say that more cloud subscriptions for Business Central have been sold than on-premise?
hands down, no question about it.
Yeah.
Not even a close comparison. The cloud stuff and the SaaS model is absolutely the way to go. It's certainly Microsoft's direction as a cloud first company. And we'll continue to see more and more of that.
And I love that I heard that for the first time a few years ago now, where Microsoft said we're cloud first. And I can tell you that I think that's huge. Just the fact that there is an on-premise option available, because although most people, like you're saying, especially today, are going to the cloud, we do run into opportunities where, for whatever reason, they can't operate in a cloud. Either maybe they're in aerospace and they've got some ITAR, security requirements. Some of our customers are, believe it or not, still in areas where they don't have reliable high-speed internet.
Mhm.
And in those cases, just to know that, hey, you want to run this on your own server sitting in your building, absolutely, we can give you the same product.
Yeah, it's nice to know the option's still available if they
Right.
need it.
And there's other scenarios too. And again, probably the good reason and the case for the fact that my guess is it's going to be around for quite some time. we've seen stuff like one of Microsoft's big focus markets is government, state, local governments, federal government, and the whole subcontractor, government contractor space where some of these organizations must be running in a secure cloud. And they can't really be on a SaaS model, right? If they're going to go into the cloud, or they need to be somewhere other, even more secure than being on-prem, we're finding a number of companies, and particularly these partners that are focused in the government space and government contractors, taking the on-prem version of something like Business Central and deploying it in the government cloud, so that they got their own private tenant, they've got their own control, but they're in a very secure environment. So lots of good stories for that.
Yep.
So are you going on record saying that the future Business Central roadmap is to include on-premise as well?
Wow, pushing me to the limit. What I will go on record and say is I have not heard of, nor do I see any near-term discontinuation of the on-prem version.
Hear no evil, see no evil.
Yep.
I get it. Good to hear. Good to hear. Quick question though. So we were talking about like Microsoft kind of chain. Ken brought up that in years past, you made a suggestion. It was like you weren't being heard or listened to or whatnot. Do you think a lot of that changed when Satya Nadella became, CEO or whatever his official title is of Microsoft?
I would think so. I think a lot of it is just the maturity of the cloud model. I think it's Microsoft's continued commitment to the partner channel and the way they go to market. But certainly there's been, as an employee here, specifically over the last 5 years, there's been some incredibly great, call it culture changing and efforts made to really get Microsoft to be we'll call it a knowledge first company, right? Mm-hmm. Not be a know-it-all, but to be a learn-it-all. And I think over the years, Microsoft was the big mean gorilla in the marketplace and threw our weight around a little bit. But under Satya's just leadership, even things like today, we're going through some training on how to have all of us be leaders and not be afraid to come to the table and challenge your boss, and bringing things that are sometimes not comfortable to discuss and coming to the table with an open mind and being more empathetic across the work we do. Yeah, Satya's, it's an amazing place to work. I will say I feel very fortunate to have landed here, and there's so much that we're seeing from a cultural change that, again, I think this is just the beginning of where things are headed. So
nice. Good to hear. Good to hear.
Yeah, well, I just want to, before we wrap it up here, I just want to say, thank you. It's always great to get, perspectives from different parties or perspectives.
If we got a few minutes left, I would love to hear from you guys as a Microsoft partner. What's working for you guys, and what are you seeing as a partner today, right? Share with everybody the things that are working for you. And I just being connected with you guys now for a number of years and knowing you competitively in Chicago, you guys got a great play, right? The Solution Systems bring some serious technology capability to the table and some great experience and super good, deep capability and knowledge. What's working for you guys today?
Yeah, so several things are working, and it's all good. So I would say from the product perspective, you touched on it. You touched on several of the things when you said what's working for Business Central. It's the integration with Office and Teams. People love you show them and here comes an inbound email. And I can click and see my customer's balance and their open orders, and even create an order or a quote directly in Outlook. That's fantastic stuff. So that tight integration with the other Microsoft products, the price point is also huge. I mean, for a full, Business Central offers pretty robust manufacturing capabilities. Service management, if you make equipment and service equipment, I mean, there's a lot of functionality built into it, and then you share the price point. Especially if you have some Teams users there or people just are reading data.
And the ability to attach certain like Dynamics 365 sales app for to Business Central for $20.
Right.
Pretty good.
Yeah. So those are the things. I mean, I believe. I'm a huge fan of NAV and Business Central now, obviously. So I've always believed in the product. I love it. But now I think the audience is larger. There's more awareness of it, or growing awareness of it, and the online resources are the last thing. The availability, you go to docs.microsoft.com and you've got all these videos. Microsoft Learn has a ton of videos and learning tools out there for users. That makes it really, really compelling.
Yeah, even the introduction of things like Yammer, where they're people are constantly asking questions and Microsoft personnel are answering questions. It's really helpful.
Right. It's that bang for the buck and that value of the community, right?
Yeah, the price point for Business Central. I mean, you got to imagine it makes it hard for some of the apps to charge what they charge to.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To compete, but
Yeah. So yeah.
So
good problem to have, right?
yeah, very good problem. So before we get into this quick little 5-question speed round that we have for you, Mike, my last question to you is, where can our listeners connect with you online? I mean, I know you're pretty active on LinkedIn and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, for sure. Look me up on LinkedIn. I don't know that I can answer a lot of questions all the time, depending on what the volume is, but I'm trying to post and keep pretty up to date on a lot of the content I get here internally. Certainly events and things, LinkedIn's probably the best place for me. And if somebody wants to talk that you guys are working with, by all means, you can reach out to me anytime and set up a call with a prospect or a customer if you need that through me. As long as they're working through you, I can do that as well anytime. So.
Perfect. So speed round, 5 questions, maybe 6, yes or no answers.
I have one final bonus thrown.
Oh.
I think maybe.
You want to do it after the speed question, after the speed round?
Yeah, I'll do it
after?
at the end. We'll wrap it up. Yeah.
All right. So you ready, Mike?
All right, bring it on.
All right. It's currently a cloud-first software kind of a world. Will on-premise software ever rebound and be more dominant than the cloud version?
No.
Okay. Do you think Business Central licensing will be able to be purchased directly from Microsoft in the future?
No.
Are you tired of these Chicago winners?
No. Love them.
Will AppSource double the number of apps it currently has within the next year?
Yes.
All right, 2 more. Do you believe in ghosts?
That question scares me.
And finally, did somebody from the Smashing Pumpkins ever buy something from you?
It's the other way around. I bought them from them. I bought the drawer from the Smashing Pumpkins house back in 2003.
Nice.
Wow, that's a nice little piece of trivia there.
It's since been sold again, so a good 10 years there, and that was good enough.
Yeah, so I got, with obviously this podcast is a shot of Business Central and a beer. So I would be remiss if I didn't ask you. So let's say it's Friday afternoon, it's 5 o'clock on a nice, beautiful, sunny summer afternoon. You're going outside to sit outside and have a nice cold drink. What's your drink of choice?
Wow.
It doesn't have to be alcohol, right?
Could be anything.
Yeah, anything.
It's hint water, any flavor, been my favorite thing. And if it's a rough day at Microsoft, it's a good vodka on the rocks.
There we go.
Straight.
Straight up on the rocks,
Yeah.
right?
Definitely a closet drinker.
Little twist, all good. Right.
All right, Mike. Well, we appreciate you taking the time to join us and flood us with some more knowledge and give us a little bit of insight into Microsoft's world. So thanks again. If there's anything we can do for you, let us know. And if we need you, we'll definitely reach out. We appreciate everything.
Thanks, Mike.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for all you guys do, and keep singing that Microsoft song. You guys are doing great. Rock stars, no doubt.
Thank you, sir. Talk to you later.
Thank you, guys.